Hello everyone and welcome to the European Roundup. I'm doing something a little bit different today. I got a new tripod, so I thought I might as well test it out whilst I'm standing up. Now this video was supposed to come out yesterday, but I've been very busy with work. However, I will be uploading this video today, which is Wednesday, and on Friday I will also be uploading a roundup of the Champions League and Europa League fixtures, so you can look forward to that. So video is a little bit late this week, but I will be doing 2 videos this week, so it kind of sort of balances itself out. But let's get straight into the scores and fixtures from around Europe's top leagues. So starting off with La Liga, and of course top of the table Atletico Madrid playing out the Madrid derby against Real, and it was a pretty feisty contest. Luis Suarez gave them the lead, Real Madrid pulling them back. It's another 2 points dropped for Atleti though, so despite it being probably quite a decent result, it's a result that means that Barcelona can catch up back to them. Luis Suarez though, yet again proving why he's such a good signing for them, and week after week proving why Barcelona were ridiculous to let him go. Poor management of transfers there, but look, we could go on about it all day. Atleti were good in this one. They've been on a little bit of a rocky patch. It still kind of continues. I think that for them, they would have needed a win really to continue their momentum, and my big worry for them earlier on in the season and in the series, of course, was can they keep the momentum going into the latter stages of the season. And at the moment it looks like they might be struggling to do that. They've still got a decent run of fixtures going into the final day, so I don't think it would be too much of a worry. For Real Madrid, again, a disappointing result for them. This would have been a really good chance to claw back some of those points, but for me, I think they would see this as 2 points dropped. They've got a good record against their rivals, and for them to not win this game, I think by their standards, would be a pretty poor result. Barcelona, on the mean hand, they defeated Osasuna by 2-0, and Alex Moriba scoring his first goal for Barcelona, the teenager. Really decent win for Barcelona. Professional, comfortable 2-0. Messi getting the assists for both goals as well, so he continues his very productive form this season. Yes, his numbers aren't as good as they used to be, but they're still ridiculously good, and I think he sort of tends to be a victim of his own success in that sense. But yeah, really positive result for them. I think that now they've got a real chance of actually winning La Liga, which, considering how many problems they've had this season, has been pretty ridiculous that they're even in this conversation. They had a really poor start to the season, but they've started to claw it back now, and they're only 3 points off Atleti, so it's all to play for. While Sevilla, they've hit a little bit of a blip in their form. They lost 2-1 to Elche. Really poor performance from this Atleti. Very much off the pace. And of course, we will talk about their Champions League result on Friday. But yeah, it was a pretty tough game for them, considering Elche are struggling this season. I think this is a good chance for Sevilla to keep up their momentum. But again, defensively, just a few lapses in concentration, and they've sort of lost a little bit of the momentum that they had going forward. I think they would have expected to score more goals in this one. Again, though, it's one of those where after the 7 clean sheets in a row, the wins that they had, the good form that they had, it was bound to come to an end at some point. I think this is just a blip in the road though for Sevilla. I don't think it's anything of a major concern for them, and I think that I would expect them to get back on winning form soon. Well, Sevilla's loss is Real Sociedad's gain. They beat Levante by 1-0 to continue on their good run of form, and that's 4 wins in a row now. They're only a couple of points off Sevilla, so you never know. They could creep into the Champions League spots. They were competing for that last season, of course, and they dropped off. This season, it's been very much a different story. They had a good start, which was like last season. They've dropped off like last season, but this time they've managed to pick up the form at the right time, and they're in a good bit of momentum now. I think getting knocked out of the Europa League has benefited them. They can purely focus on La Liga. Obviously, Sevilla are now out of the Champions League, but they have the chance now to build up the momentum. So for both of these sides now, they can primarily focus on the league. I think it's going to be a really interesting battle for that Champions League spot. Now, another team in good form is Real Betis. They've got 4 wins in a row. I was supposed to say Sociedad had 4 wins in their last 5, but I got a little bit confused there, so apologies for that. But Betis are in very good form at the moment, and they beat Alaves by 3-2. Another high-scoring one. They've been scoring a decent amount of goals recently, hence why Christian Teo has got his what-if card in Ultimate Team. But a really good result again for Betis after a sort of hit-and-miss start of the season, I guess. success. They've picked up some real momentum at the moment, and they're pushing for those Champions League spots. Really, really good stuff for them. It's been a while. It's been a while since they've been in European competition, or especially in the Champions League. So it's a big, big season for them. Can they make a late push? I think so. Sevilla, if they continue a sort of a downward trend, then you could see Sociedad and Betis climb into those Champions League spots. So a very, very interesting race in La Liga. Villarreal, they continue their poor run of form, so I think it's unlikely to see them really push for anything. But Sociedad and Betis are right behind Sevilla. Should make for a very, very entertaining end to the season. Okay, Syria now, and things are really starting to hot up for the Champions League places, but we'll start with the title challenge, of course. Inter Milan really, really starting to push away now. They've got a very decent gap of 6 points between them and AC. And with the form that they're in, you'd back them to go all the way. They've been in absolutely brilliant form at the moment, and they beat Atalanta by 1-0. Really, really solid win. This was a potential banana skin for Inter Milan. If you think about some of the fixtures they've had recently, they did really, really well to keep a clean sheet in this one as well. Not many teams can say that after playing Atalanta. Really, really impressive stuff. And again, the form of their forwards and just their team is very much in tandem at the moment. And I think that's a thing. Antonio Conte has really got his team playing in a system that works for them. Last season, I think we definitely saw the benefits, but we also saw the fact that they had inconsistencies and they had lapses in concentration, defensive frailties. But this season, that's not really been the case. At points in the halfway stage of the season, it looked like the same thing would happen again. But they've really, really bounced back. And this is such a good chance for them to win the league. Juventus are very much off the pace. They, of course, got knocked out by Porto in the Champions League last night. But yet again, it's a chance for another team to win Serie A. We had a glimpse of it last season. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out. But I'm very confident in saying that this season it should work out. And look, let's be honest. Who doesn't want a title race between Inter and AC Milan? This is what Italian football has needed. Some competitiveness. And Inter Milan have certainly brought that to the table, and so have AC. Speaking of AC, they are very much back on form, I think, after a real blip. They're now unbeaten in their last 3, 2 wins, and they beat AS Verona by 2-0. Diogo Dalot actually getting the second goal in this one. Quite interesting. Of course, former Manchester United player. There was quite a few Manchester United players in the Syria at the moment. Seems to be a point of destination for them. But yeah, really good win for AC Milan. And AS Verona are having a good season, and they have proved to be tricky customers at points. So it's a good thing for them that they've managed to get a bit of form back, and they are managed to really sort of push Inter as well, because every time they win, Inter have got to as well. So it should make for a very tight title race. I think the problem is for them now is that Ibrahimovic's goals have started to maybe dry up a little bit. And that would be a concern for me. Can they keep up the goal scoring products? They had 2 different goal scorers, Rubic and Dalot, in this one, so you could say that they potentially have enough firepower to get them over the line. But Ibrahimovic has been such a crucial player for them. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Juventus, despite getting knocked out of the Champions League last night, had very good league form before that, and they got a really big win against Lazio, 3-1. Really good win for Pirlo's side. Morata was the real MVP in this one. 2 goals and an assist for the Spaniard. Really good performance from him. He's been inconsistent at times this season, but has shown himself to be a useful player for Juventus, and he did that again today. Very decent run out for him. And of course, this means now that Juventus are starting to maybe get a couple more options. Chiesa has been in very decent form recently. He's proving to be a really important player for them. I think they maybe would have liked more from Kuselevski this year. But to be honest, he's still a young player and he hasn't been a first team starter for them, so you can't really expect him to sort of be scoring every week or so. But I guess what you would say is that they've finally been able to scrap wins and get a bit of form in, because they've been inconsistent at times this season. I think that the fact that they've managed to close out this Lazio side, who, yes, haven't been in the best of form recently. They've lost a couple of games. They're starting to lose a lot of the momentum that they had at the start of the season. But it's still a good win for Juventus. It keeps them in the Champions League places. There were a little bit of grumblings going on about whether they would actually make that. Pirlo's under a lot of pressure at the moment after the result last night. But at the moment, if they can keep up the form, get in the Champions League, I think as a first season in management, I think Pirlo could be fairly happy with how it's gone. Obviously, he would have liked more success. Juventus do have probably the best squad. Well, they do have by far the best squad in the league. They really should have done better in the Champions League, but they still have a chance to progress under Pirlo. And very decent win indeed. However, a team hot on their tail is Roma, who are only 2 points off them and only 6 points off AC Milan. So, despite me saying last time that they might be sort of slipping out of the title race, which they technically are, I mean, they're still 12 points behind Inter Milan. But they could fight for second. They got a very decent 1-0 win against Genoa. Nothing special, but that's all they needed. Solid and unspectacular. Mancini with the winner in this one. And it's just another win that gets them back on track. They've got 2 wins in a row now after mixed form big losses to teams around them. They've managed to get the wins back. They're still very, very close to the teams around them as well. Like I said, Juve and AC Milan aren't that far ahead of them. So they still very much have a chance to play for best of the rest. And to be honest, I think that they deserve it this season. They've been really, really good. I think this has been one of their stronger campaigns in recent years. Of course, the European side of things hasn't gone as they would have wanted, but they do have a chance to play for best of the rest. So that is definitely something that they should be competing for. Well, Napoli, can you believe it? Some solid form. Win, draw, win in their last 3. They've finally broken the curse of win-loss, win-loss. They got their first draw of the season against Sassuolo 3-3, and they beat Bologna by 3-1 in their most recent performance. Lorenzo Insigne with a brace, and Victor Osimhen getting a goal as well. I think their record signing. Hasn't maybe been as good as they would have wanted him to this season, but he certainly did himself a lot of favours getting on the score sheet today. And do you know what? Fair play to Gattuso. He's got them in a little bit of form now. This is all they need. And I said in the past couple of episodes, all they need is a bit of consistent form where they don't just keep taking a step back after taking a step forward. They've taken a couple of steps forward here and they've really paid the dividend. They're looking very decent now on 47 points. They're only 3 points off Roma, so they could very, very much push for the Champions League places. And despite having a good squad, and they probably shouldn't be in 5th, in 6th, sorry. I do think that Gattuso could push them into the Champions League, which would be a good result for Napoli. But considering they were fighting for the title a couple of seasons ago, it's not brilliant. You could argue either way. Right, onto the Bundesliga, and damn, this was an exciting weekend in the Bundesliga. Of course, we'll start off as I should with the Bayern Dortmund game. What a game this was. Really, really looked forward to this one, and it pretty much lived up to the hype within the first 10 minutes. Erling Haaland getting a brace. This was very much a battle of Lewandowski versus Haaland in this one. Who was going to come out on top? Of course, we all know that Lewandowski did, but Dortmund taking a 2-0 lead, storming into a 2-0 lead. 2 goals by Haaland, yet again proving how good this guy is. He just keeps on scoring. Every game, it seems that he gets a brace. He got a brace last night in the Champions League. I mean, the guy is just an absolute machine. But, as is the case with Dortmund over the past couple of seasons, and we've seen this, and we've said this so many times, defensively, yet again, very, very frail. Bayern Munich, only about 10 or 15 minutes later, get themselves back into the game. Lewandowski, poacher as always, and after that the momentum completely switched, and it was with Bayern. And the disappointing thing for Dortmund in this one is that as soon as they went 2-0 up, they sort of went into their shells a bit, far too defensive. They allowed too much pressure on, and when you do that with Bayern, you're always going to cause yourself problems. And then just before the break as well, Lewandowski put them ahead with a penalty. Rash challenge, I think it was Kingsley Coman who was fouled in the box, and then Lewandowski stepped up, took it well. And, that was the turnaround. And to be honest, it didn't surprise me, because at 2-2 I thought, right, I'd expect Bayern to go on and win the game. And they completely dominated the match. I think they had over 20 shots and Dortmund had 4 or 5. It was a complete whitewash, really, in terms of stats. Bayern were all over them. And the breakthrough finally paid off with Leon Goretzka, former Schalke player, of course, in the 88th minute, getting the winner. And then Lewandowski in the 90th minute, sealing the win, 4-2. Really, really good win for Bayern, because at 2-0 down, it looked dangerous, particularly with the form that Leipzig are in. And I said last week that Bayern do look frail defensively, and when they went 2-0 down, I felt vindicated. If I'm being honest, I was like, oh my gosh, this could actually be happening. But of course, in typical Bayern fashion, like they did against Arminia Bielefeld as well, come back even stronger, get the win, get the 3 points, and yet again march on to what seems like another Bundesliga title. The only team that can look like catching Bayern at the moment is RB Leipzig, and they won by 3-0 against Freiburg. Another really impressive win for Julian Nagelsmann's side. Brilliant attacking play as usual, and another clean sheet. Not much has been said about Leipzig's defending this year, but really, really good stuff. I mean, Mukiele, Upamecano, Klosterman, just some of the names that have really performed well for them this season. And I think that, if they do want to at least push Bayern all the way to the end, then defensively they needed improvements, and they've improved hugely this season. A lot of credit has to go to Nagelsmann. They've tuned up on the mistakes that they made last year, which was drawing too many games. They've won a lot more this year. They've been scoring more goals. They've been a lot less fragile at points. They look like they know what they're doing. Of course, they were very much in a title race last season, and I think that their failures in that one have really matured a lot of the young players that they have there. They know what it takes now to win games, and I think that we're really seeing that this season. And another positive result means that they just keep just behind Bayern, a couple of points in it, and all it takes for Bayern is to drop a couple of points in one game. Leipzig can take advantage of that, and I feel confident now, and I think Leipzig fans feel confident in the fact that their team can consistently win games, and they have done that this season. So yet again, another really impressive result. Well, the two teams that I said could potentially close the gap to Leipzig, both dropping points. Wolfsburg, they lost to Hoffenheim. Pretty disappointing result, to be honest. Hoffenheim haven't been amazing this season. Wolfsburg have been in good form. It's their first loss in quite a while, to be honest. And I know Frankfurt have dropped a few points as well. So this was a good chance for them to really pull away further. I would have felt that this was a missed opportunity with Frankfurt drawing. It actually closes the gap. So you really have to sort of look at the results that both teams have had and say, this is probably why they're not in the same position Leipzig are. They're sort of making the same mistakes. Losing and dropping points when they should be winning. Frankfurt, of course, drawing to Stuttgart, another game which you'd have expected Frankfurt to win. I think both of these sides will be happy with the positions that they're in, to be honest. They've overperformed massively compared to what they were like last season. Very inconsistent at times, and at times downright awful if you think about Frankfurt. But for both of these sides, it's a big blow, because this means now that Leverkusen had the chance to close the gap. And they did just that with a win against Mönchengladbach, who, by the way, Mönchengladbach have absolutely collapsed since Marco Rose announced that he's leaving. I don't think it was a coincidence. I think, to be honest, they were in pretty poor form before they announced it, but they've really taken a nosedive. They're down in 10th now, which is ridiculous because they were competing for Champions League at the midway point of the season. But yeah, good win for Bayer Leverkusen. They've been in some okay form recently. They've started to lose a lot less games. I think they do need to try and convert those draws into wins though, because they've still only won 2 of their last 5. They've only lost 1. So it does tell you that, they're grinding results, but they really need to start playing with a bit more confidence. The loss of Havertz has clearly hit them. They have lost some key players, but I do think that they have enough this season to maybe claw back. I think Frankfurt may be starting to slip a little bit. If Leverkusen get a couple of wins, you never know. They can easily push for those places. So that is it for this week. Very much a quicker roundup to try and get the video out. I will go and try and get into more detail if I start a podcast every now and again. But I do hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you're enjoying the series at the moment. Make sure to leave your comments make sure to leave your opinions in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to make the Champions League? Who do you think is going to win the title in all of these leagues? There's some very interesting races at the moment, and it's certainly going to be a really exciting end to the season. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay safe, take care, and I hope to see you soon.